figured out, I asked some people over here if there was a dead found person in the water, in the sea, in the 70s. And it actually turns out there was one, and it was in 73 or something. I have the date right. And he was examined in Aarhus, but said to be German. But I think it was Anna Beaumont's dad who was trying to liberate the Beaumont children. And I have asked some people from Australia if they could confirm why the Beaumont children were the chosen of a target, right? And there was somebody saying something about that they think that the dad of the Beaumont children had something to do in warfare. Maybe he was a military person. I also figured maybe it had something to do with gambling or something that made him specific target. I'm not clear on this, right? Another thing is that um, I think that he was addressing the town over across the sea, and he was actually cyanide in that house and then dumped in the sea. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But that's the only thing I can really figure because I did see him, and I did see him talk to them. Secondly, I found out that the person, the dad that I had when I was a younger person, when I was a child, that name might have been changed. That person might have been changed under different names, right? So basically, I'm not so sure that it's only the photographer from Australia I'm looking for or United States, a person that would be a little bit like Ouija, but not the person you think is Ouija, but probably a commercial photographer with a sort of stage art crime, meaning that he could have been from military or police or like linked to that, right? So basically, the only photo I could find that I think looked like a person I know is a picture of a person laying on a stairway, and he's laying there like he was dead in a pajamas. But I actually think that's the man. And another thing I found out was that hang on, have a headache right now from I don't know what. Anyway, then I found out that maybe he was a commercial photographer. He was maybe working for bigger companies, Second World War also, right? Meaning he was pretty high position in this area with the government maybe. And then he was into film photographers, which there's another person in that family who has connection in film business. His daughter is working there, right? Also the Black Stallion connected, but maybe just as a friend, who knows. But maybe the reason why I kind of found out he was a commercial photograph was because there is a photo from another Australian case called the Tron case. And in the Tron case, on the video, is a person with you see his back, and he has a big camera. He has a camera and he has short black hair. And I think that's the man. And he's passing by a man with a soft hat. And I also recognize him as he was supposed to be a detective. I think that he's called Al, right? And those two people, they probably ran out from Australia. Maybe somebody was too close on the Beaumont case and the Tron case, right? Which is the same thing. Blackmail, explore, blah, blah, blah. And they are connected to Utzon, the opera house. And whether they knew them from Europe, I don't know. But anyway, it turned out that these people, the so-called photographer, he knew Utzon. So they were friends. And it also said that somebody said that Utzon was a German fugitive, which I can't verify. But basically, what I experienced in Denmark about my design is that I'm a fugitive. Again, the same people turning into that they are designers and architectures and film people, but they would never, never, never pay respect or royalty or patent rights. They are criminals, right? Another link I have is a woman who is in the 1970s a prominent IRA woman, and she's recognized, connected, right? So I think that Al and the commercial photograph, they escaped to Europe, or maybe came from Europe, I don't know. But basically, they came together to Europe, and they actually connected on a mob case about something gold, which is maybe connected to a murder in Denmark on another ambassador called the Gold Murder. It was a Danish ambassador who lived in New York with a German wife, and they had some access to gold under the Second World War. And he was killed in Denmark, and his wife, the German wife, the two kids, right? So basically, these people, they are something between mobsters, Nazis, and IRA. And that's maybe why I couldn't break it, because they're powerful. Another thing is that when they make a headliner, the headliner as Diana, or the headliner as 3 children kidnapped, that's a massive money they make out of. It's almost at the level of Ted Bundy, right? Which the lawyer is pretty interesting. So when they make a headliner of these tragic things, right, they make it big time. And that's because some of these criminals are investing in news and media. So basically, they run war. And that's also explaining why I can't lift the case. If I call the media about my son and Chris Stevenson's case, murder, kidnapping, murder attempt, violation, wire scam, cyberbully, royalty theft, ID theft, bank, lawyers, court system, police theft, case handling, fraud, document fraud, money from foreign affairs never paid out, blah, 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 The press just hang up. They're not interested. They want to run a story. If they're going to transfer my story for being a top diplomat, according to Clintons in Northern Ireland and Russia, Cold War, and I was a prisoner in Litauen, right? If they were going to transfer my story from being a hero, they would say like, oh, a crazy lady went crazy when they took her kid, her money, and did something, right? They want to kind of squeeze the case down to something about just crazy people. And that's because they have this kind of narcissistic attachment. So if they can win, they can always call people crazy. And they can beat them up until they beat them back, So basically, what they do is cyberbully in instead of mobile call. So if I'm calling on a job, I get a joker. If I calling the Justice Ministry, I get a joker. If I call on my child, I get a telephone answer machine. So their kind of plan is to outplay people, drive them crazy, because if they kill, they would be suspicious about, okay, she got a child and she said the child was in the illegal case handling and now she got killed. Well, that's suspicious, right? So they want to make it kind of silent kill, somewhere out nowhere. I even think that they tried to, call officials to try and make some kind of false kind of troublemaking, right? Actually, it was one of the days, because I know a lot of people from the military, and there was one day there was a guy coming into my sleeping room saying, "What the fuck? I know you." Kind of, he was full on, right? And I also sometimes have, military person coming over with like, you got a section, something like that, So basically, I'm military trained, and that's pretty much why I'm not criminal, unless you say the military is criminal, but whatever. So basically, I think I solved it. I think that there was a connection between media mafia. Australia was pretty corrupt in the 60s, 70s. Europe were also dark market and copy market and things. And then the strong connection to the IRA, and I think they killed a lot of people. I also think they pirate copy bands. They probably killed musicians and artists just to get the royalty, right? And that's maybe the whole bunch of this thing, right? So that they put up some kind of copy thing that they pay actors role, and then they take over the, you could say, Beatles rights, something like that. That's it. So I solved my own case. I solved my son's case. That's definitely fraud. 13 hours, Michael Bay, and to send a beer a chance more. One of them has to be guilty in the Chris Stevenson. They are too close to the case. Corruption, yeah. Lawyers, court system, police, media, yeah. They've done it before and they did it again and nobody stopped them. So that's it. Case solved. So there's some other cases. Bulgarian missing children might be the Michael Bay explanation. In Esbjerg, there's some missing Jersey handicapped boys in Ribe on a horrifying institution and school, together maybe with an American named Kevin. And there is some maybe USA missing children in Skjern, close to, you should look up all the schools and the pictures. Anyway, missing person is not a priority of the police. Starving animals is not a priority of the police. Corruption is probably a priority. And cyberbullying is their game, right? So welcome to my world. This is the real world, you know?